everyone. My name is Lynn McEntee. I'm your host for Spotlight on Community, and we're here because of Moksha Canada Foundation. They've allowed us to be here, and thank you for sponsoring this program. Spotlight on Community is a new series, and you may have seen a few episodes already. We are in the second portion of this one, and we're talking about the art of parenting and healthy living. And I have to welcome back Guru and Carine, who joined us in the first portion of the program. I'll tell you a little bit about Moksha Canada Foundation and why we're here. We are a nonprofit organization, and we connect, create, and participate. We acknowledge and understand the importance of multiculturalism, respecting diversity, and having inclusive approaches to service delivery. Hence, our work aims to build, facilitate, and promote connections amongst diverse Canadian communities. Thank you, and welcome back to Guru and Carine.
Thank you. Good evening. Once again. My full name is Dutt Vaid.
Yes, thank you. It's great to be back. Our conversation just seems to want to keep flowing. So we're all about mind, body, and balance. And we are talking about the beginning of life in this segment and how important it is in homeopathic medicine and lifestyle choices. And any of our guests can pick up the conversation right now. We can either start with Carine or Guru, and why it is important to educate our young and prepare our young from the beginning of life for this life journey.
I don't know, Guru, you want to take over? I don't mind. It's always kind of been the habit of him starting and then I go in. I kind of got conditioned that way, but go for it.
So, Carine, you will be the opening batsman.
There you go.
Okay. So I think, the early ages, it's so important. If you are able, we were talking about breastfeeding before, if you are able to breastfeed, because I know there's a lot of shaming around breastfeeding as well, and some moms really genuinely cannot breastfeed. There's also a lack of support in the hospital system to help teach moms about lactation and how to breastfeed. And so it's a very controversial topic, but if you can breastfeed, so critical. The longer you can, the better it is. If you can go up to a year, 2 years, but it's critical. The first 6 months especially are critical for that baby to be breastfed if you're able to. I don't know. Sorry, I was looking at the chat. And I think it's also to be discerning of the information that you're receiving, right? Very discerning, because I remember this, and I want to share this story because when my first child was about 9 months, I remember going to the pediatrician, and as a mom, as a first-time mom, I was trusting of the information I was receiving. And I remember the pediatrician saying, well, now you can start your child on yogurt. And the yogurt that I recommend is Petit Danone. And I was like, oh. And at that time, I was already starting to research like organic foods and how to feed my child organically. That's when I started becoming this like health nut, because of my daughter. It was because of her. When she was in my tummy, I was like, okay, I need to be more mindful of what I'm eating, because everything I'm eating, she's eating, right? And then when he recommended that, I was like, isn't that like a sugar-filled yogurt? So I went to the grocery store. I looked at the ingredients. It was full of sugar. And this was a pediatrician, a veteran pediatrician, one of the most renowned pediatricians in my area. And he was recommending that my 9-year-old baby eat a sugary yogurt dairy drink or yogurt. I was like, that's when I started realizing that, you have to be as a parent, you have to be very discerning of the information that you receive, even from medical doctors, right? They don't know everything. They're also conditioned, right? They don't know everything. So it's really important to discern and to do your own research as to what's good for your child and what you should be feeding them, right? Even from the get-go, they tell you to eat those like cereals, right? The carb-filled, rice cereals. Get your kids on that rice cereal, rice. These kids are going to get addicted to carbohydrates and want more rice and feel more rice instead of veggies and fruits and all of these good things that you can give to them right from the start of their life, right? So that's kind of my take from a parent, not an expert. I'm not an expert in this. It's more a parent perspective of how I kind of trained my children to want nourishing foods, because at 5 and 10 years old now, I see them and the choices that they make in what they're eating, right? And you could feel the difference of the way I fed them growing up versus kids who start eating that sugary stuff and those carby stuff from the get-go, right?
And it's interesting because the advertising starts very young from the time the baby has arrived. It's even in the hospital, you're getting those packages of advertising, or if the baby is born in the hospital, right? And then just, even just look at toddlerhood. They're being handed those cereals. They're walking around with little cups of cereal all the time, and they're full of sugar. But that's sort of like the snack, and it's just a given that that's a nutritional component for them, because they're conditioned, the parents conditioned. So your light bulb went on when you became a parent, when you were pregnant already, and you started becoming mindful of what you were ingesting, so that when your child was born, then your red flag went off when the yogurt was offered to you.
Oh yeah, okay. She was my catalyst. She was my wake-up call, because before her, I was eating everything, garbage. I was like McDonald's, Coke, like all of it. I didn't care about my body. I've always been very skinny and slim, so I never had weight issues. I've had a fast metabolism my whole life. So I was like, oh, I'm skinny. I can eat whatever I want, and I know I don't get big, right? So I was eating all this garbage, but I was sick all the time. And then when I decided to start having children and got pregnant, I was like, it's not just about me anymore. It's not just about me anymore. I completely did a complete overhaul of my lifestyle. And then also, once they're born and they grow up, you want to serve as an example to them, right? The way you're eating, it's like not just feeding them the healthy stuff, but showing them that you're also valuing and honoring your body, because we only have one body. We only have one temple that houses our soul. Like, we got to take care of this body, right? This vehicle.
Totally. That's awesome. Guru?
It's very wondering to me sometimes when some mothers came that the child is allergic to milk.
Yeah.
And it is widely worldly known as milk. It is not good because of all these contamination and all that. But one thing is very important. If we go to the nature's lab, milk is the first diet of all mammals. If it is naturally the first diet of a child or a mammal, then how it can be wrong? It cannot go wrong anyway. But the thing is that it is coming from the wrong side.
No.
The development of or the production is by the wrong way. As earlier we were talking about what we eat, what we are. So what type of food we are doing, as you said, mother is taking, and what type of food the cows or buffaloes are fed, so that you have made the first step of the life in a bad shape. You are supplying to the very little kid a wrong food. So how it will be developed? So naturally, in the long run, there will be more aggressiveness in the child because he has not seen that affection from the mother's breast. So this is one of the main reasons that we are seeing in the children, they are very restless. They have unrespectful words they use because they have not taught that. They have not been petted by the mother when he was taking the milk.
That natural connection.
Yes, natural connection is not there.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And then if you're not having breast milk when you're young and those other things you're speaking of, how sick do children get? Do they get more sick if they're not getting the natural breast milk and they're being supplemented with, say, a powder milk?
Yeah.
Perhaps are they on antibiotics more? Is there a tendency towards some of those things? I'm curious.
Yeah. Moreover, as you were talking about that advertisement of the formulas and all that, and even in the grocery shops, whatever the contents is written, they are not good for the person as a health. But I would say that all countries now have a one very good ministry that is known as the health ministry. What health ministry is doing? Why there are people who are sitting there or having that responsibility of nation's health, why they are not particularly giving their eye towards the rate of diseases, how they are getting in their country. They are spending a lot of money on that. So it is their responsibility to see what type of food people are eating. It is not just when the people get sick, they get good treatment. Main thing should be that they should not get sick.
Mm.
The ministry should be like that.
So national plan.
Yes, that needs a very opening. I think it should be a debate in the parliament or with the people, that they should ask to the question to the ministry, that why you are saying that how much these pharmaceutical companies, they are getting rich and their share is going up. That means more people are sick in the world. Otherwise, this share cannot go up. They cannot have the more profit. They should actually, ministry should work on that. Which company is going down? That means their medicines are going down, and those responsible doctors, they should be honored. Nowadays, they should see that how many in very old age, but what I have read, that particularly if I talk about the England, when they started this national health scheme, at that time they used to give more, as I was saying, that a gift or a prize or a honor to those physicians, those were treating their patient in less number.
Oh, really?
Most people have fallen in their area. They have divided that area 100 years ago. I am talking about 100 years ago. At that time, government has allotted such area to the particular physicians and the doctors, that you are responsible for their health of this area.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So if they, because when the person gets sick, it is national loss of labor.
Yeah.
That should be considered.
So national crisis if it's not
It's a
handled.
natural crisis. And nowadays, every doctor, they are not about that. That's why I'm saying that health ministry should start working on the opposite side, that we should not have fallen sick. What type of things can be done? I will quote one incident of my father. My father said they were having 2-3 buffaloes and the cows at home, and the other, on the other side of the home, they were having a one doctor, and the doctor and my father, they made one contract that he will get 1 or 2 liter of milk every day from my father, and no money, but whenever anybody will fall sick, and he will treat free. I am talking about the 80 years old story.
Mhm.
So my father said, on the change of season, and he used to come and give some pills to everybody, whether they are sick or not, the preventive type of medicine. And they said, we are not sick, we are good. He said, I am going to give you the medicine so that you should not fall sick, and I should not be punished by giving you more medicine, because I am, if I have to give more medicine to you, I have to give more from money. I will be losing more money.
So it's which one rated? I see.
So that your client should not get sick.
Yes.
And what in the yoga, what we are doing, your job is to make the people healthy.
Mhm. Mhm. And that's why your work is
That is very
important.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both of you in the work that you do, that's you're drawn to that for that reason, to help
Yes.
people, to enable people.
So that's why we need multiple system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I share
And
my one
prevention.
of the experience.
Mhm.
I developed some varicose veins around my knee joint,
Yeah.
and I started some yoga for the last 1.5 months, and those disappeared.
Really?
Yes,
it's amazing. It's,
Wow.
to add to what Guru was saying, it's very, right now in this situation, unfortunately, in the whole COVID situation,
yes,
most people are not talking about prevention and amplifying and bettering your immune system. We're talking about surface solutions. No, stay inside, wear a mask, vaccine, and I'm not saying, and I'm not going to even go there, but it's like, who's talking about prevention and working on strengthening your immune system? The viruses don't survive. They cannot survive in an oxygenated space. So if you're doing breath work, you're bringing enough of that prana into your body, you can't get viruses. I don't remember the last time I was sick, or even with a mild flu or a mild cold. I don't remember. It's probably
Really?
10 years, right? I don't get sick. My children don't get sick, right? Knock on wood. But it's breath, breath, breath. Bring in that prana, because those viruses can't survive in an oxygenated space. Oxygen and virus, they don't go together. So if you're doing breath work every single day, you're not going to get sick, you know. But there's the other aspect of it, prevention through food. Let food be thy medicine, right? Eat properly, nourish your body, feed your body with good food, right? People are staying home right now and feeding off of like takeout food and McDonald's, and you know, we're not educating. It's not their fault. We're not doing a good job as a society, as a community, to educate people on nourishing their body through food, through eating the right things, and at the same time doing these practices, these yogic, these ancient sacred teachings of yoga and breath work and meditation, and you know, balancing your glandular system, allowing your glands to secrete properly. Do some cat cows every day. Do some fast, just cat cows, 3 minutes of cat cow per day will balance and secrete your hormones properly, your glandular system. There's some ancient teachings here that if we were able, and I, you know, I'm only one person, there's a ton of beautiful yoga teachers in the world, and we're all trying to spread this message and of prevention and immune system and balancing your mind and your body and your spirit, so that you don't have to react. It's you know, there's reaction and then there's prevention. You can be proactive in your healing so that you don't need to resort to the pharmaceuticals and all these things that are on the external, right? You can do that from the inside, right?
As we were talking about in the first section about the vital force, in homeopathic philosophy, we say if your vital force is strong, your energy is strong, no bacteria or the virus can enter, because it will not allow that other force to enter. As it is generally that this on this universe, every living creature, whether it is micro or macro, they are fed on each other. They try to make some prey. These bacteria are all the time, they are in this atmosphere. Viruses are all the time in the atmosphere. When our human body or any other animal body becomes weak, at that time they get the chance to enter. So they get that gate opens, because otherwise the vital force is going like that, and when it starts like that, at that time the virus or the bacteria enter into our body. Healthy body cannot get sick.
So when your defenses are down, when your immune system is down, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to, I guess, somewhat of an attack, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Then
the internal flora and the external flora, they should be so much strength that they will not allow any bacteria to be there, any parasite to be there. It will throw out.
Yeah.
And those parasites and bacteria, they make us prey.
They're out of there.
Yes.
They're taking the high road.
And we are not, as we were talking about that prevention is better than cure.
Yeah.
It should be the first slogan in the health ministry.
Yeah.
So
How
then,
to prevent the disease.
Yeah. You know, the government should be prescribing breathwork classes versus putting on a mask, right?
Yes.
If everyone sat down and did breathwork classes, we won't need these masks.
interesting. Yeah. Keeping the filter in your body for those things, right? Yeah.
And
so
I think we should, at this platform, we should send the
Dr. Guru.
Aging.
we should try to
Right.
to the health ministry or to the councillor or the our MPPs or the MPs, that they should wake up. This is the wake up time
Yeah, absolutely.
to work on the preventative treatment.
Yeah.
And one of the preventive treatment will be that they should give a good labeling towards the packed food. it should be properly checked.
Mhm.
Those
Like,
inspector, health minister, because we have all type of ministry in the even in the health.
mhm.
The preventive ministry is there, physical ministry is there. There are lots of, but they are just doing, I will say that on the bureaucracy, on the table of work, working in the room, and they are not doing particular work that should be done on the ground. And for that, best is that they should integrate all type of this yoga, homeopathic, naturopathy. They should be like that type of integrity should be there. Patient should be given a full, we can say that freedom to choose.
Mhm.
Now we are not free to choose our treatment. Of course, now that when I have seen that for the last, when I came here 20 years back, and I have seen that the doctors here say this is the medicine if you want to take or not.
Interesting.
And very good old days, doctor used to say that take this tablet to get well.
Mhm.
And at that time, the things were totally changed. There was no greed. Their life was very simple. Now our life has become very complicated.
Mhm.
Though we have become wealthy, but not healthy.
Mhm.
Before that, we were healthy, not wealthy.
Yeah, wealth is the new health. That's what
Yes.
I love saying.
Oh,
Wealth is the new health.
You see, every household has now 3 to 4
Right, the opposite.
vehicles.
The new
oh,
wealth.
the
I'm
opposite.
like, now it makes sense in my head.
Sorry.
And we
That's
don't want to walk.
t-shirts. That's a good way we're getting t-shirts. So we can,
That's the new wealth. That's great.
And when we
My next
go
t-shirt.
out, when we go out for the shopping, we try to park our car very near to the door. There's a big parking lot.
right?
I generally say that I advocate my patients that when you go out, park your car at the end and then walk at least 5 to 10 minutes to the store. And when there are big stores, and have a 3, 4 rounds there,
I like it 3-4.
particularly in the winter, when
Right?
people say that how we can walk away. It is the best time to walk there.
Yeah. So
That's
not to
why
be
there are big malls.
Yes. I like it.
And that's part of the solution
But
of
in the big mall, one thing is very bad, that there are fast food.
Walking the mall and
You
getting
have
fast food.
burnt out, you have burnt out some of your calories and you are now develop fries and all that.
That's funny. Carine, you were going to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I get a lot of people telling me, I don't have time to work out, or I'm too tired, I'm this and that, and I love that. Just park your car further out where you're going and just walk. And I always tell them, like, I'm a busy mom, a working mom of 2. If I can get a workout in, you can. What I do sometimes is I run from the kitchen to the bathroom. I'm just running, I'm jogging. While I'm doing the dishes, I don't like doing the dishes. So while I'm doing the dishes, I have music blasting in the background and I'm dancing while I'm washing dishes or while I'm cooking, or I'll have a dance party with my kids. I'll put on music 15, 20 minutes with dancing and dancing. And sometimes, often actually, I'll do yoga in front of them. I'll have my yoga session and my son will come accompany me sometimes. Sometimes my daughter will come and do the work with me. Go hiking. If you are a parent, take your kids hiking. You can't go indoors anyway right now, right? We're on lockdown here again. Go hiking, go out into nature, connect with nature and walk, get your 10,000 steps per day if you can, right? It doesn't have to be like, I need to work out, right? This is the misconception about, especially with busy, you don't have to be a parent, you're just busy. We're just busy all the time, right? You don't have to use that as an excuse anymore. You can incorporate workouts, dancing, moving your body into your everyday activities. You can infuse them and almost integrate them into your lifestyle so that it's not something that's sort of like an obligation that you have to schedule, right?
Yes. This is my own experience, and I have advocated to the others that to do the exercise, and more you are active, more activity will be in your body. You will not like to sit. You will do, as you were saying, that dancing and all that. Even I told them that when they said we are tired and generally, particularly the TV watcher, I say that when you are taking your tea, after the word, start playing with the cup.
Yes.
I love that.
Nice.
Your
Yeah.
legs. You can do lots of exercise while sitting on the couch.
Yes. I love that.
You will get, as you are not getting time, you are watching the TV. At the same time, if you start your breathe out, breathe in, and the other exercises, or you can have any ball which you can put under your feet, and then roll your leg on that. That will also help you. This,
Mhm.
this exercise, as I was telling you, the rolling of the leg, having a ball under that, your arthritic pain will also be reduced, because your that joint will get lubrication. It will get some movement,
Yeah.
and slowly, all that material, which is toxic material, all the chemicals which have developed there, they will go away.
Yeah. Mhm. So
Because
they're all,
most of our problems of people who, particularly I will say that the senior, is non-mobility.
Yeah.
They fear that if you move, there will be pain, but they are wrong. They move, they will move their pain away,
mhm, mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
movement is alive. Stagnation is dead.
Yes. Yes.
Only living body can move.
Yeah.
Dead body never moves.
Yeah.
And you're moving energy out, right? You're
Yes.
moving stuck
Naturally,
emotion,
when you
stuck
move, there will be energy. As
Yeah,
I said,
absolutely. Energy. Yeah.
our own energy is autonomous.
Sorry. So energy, and then Guru, you said?
It get automatically.
Yes, automatically. That
This,
energy.
this is
Right?
automatic energy source.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then, can I ask you both, how important is it, and how do we start at the beginning of life? Let's starting with our very young, from a babe in arms. How do we get that lifestyle choice ingrained, I guess, into the psyche of our young, and to make that change in society, to make those choices of change in society? So starting with a very young family, perhaps a baby. Yeah. How are we mindful of educating the parent? How do we start with a young child who's becoming a toddler, moving on to preschool and kindergarten? And how do we get them in tune with their mind, body, and soul?
Start from my perspective is you have to be the example, because you can tell your child to eat healthy, to do this, and to be respectful to, but if you're not doing it yourself, you're not embodying those values, it's very hard to teach your children. Like when they're seeing you eat, fries and pizza all the time, and you're like, no, eat your celery. They're like, well, that's not fair. Mom can eat, pizza, and why can't I? And it's like, you as a parent need to completely wholeheartedly embrace that lifestyle, because otherwise your kids won't. They're looking up to you. You have to lead by example and teach from a place of authenticity. Like I can't go in front of my students and say, guys, do breath work every day, and I'm like not doing it at all, right? So you really have to teach from a place of authenticity, and kids can pick up on that. Like even when it comes to manners and respect, if you're telling your children, say please and thank you, but if you're not doing it, then these kids are not going to do it. The best way to teach them is to lead by that example. So I would encourage parents. What I did was I started reading up on everything I could about health, ingredients, how to feed your children, how to feed a baby. Like when they turn 6 months, you're supposed to start feeding them food, right? What do you feed them? What are the best first foods? And then the rest is all intuitive, right? And it's trial and error. I remember with my daughter, I was giving her dairy at about a year old. I started giving her organic cow's milk. And then 2 months into it, I started doing research, and I didn't like what I was reading, even if it was organic. I didn't like what I was reading. So I started her on sheep cheese, like sheep milk, which is closer to mother's breast milk. So I started researching that, and I realized, oh, that's healthier. Let me switch that over.
Mhm.
So do research, get educated, inform yourself, don't listen to everyone, right? Discern what you're getting in terms of information, including a pediatrician, right? Including a pediatrician. And then start with like little things and do, obviously you adopt that lifestyle first and then teach it to your children. And like I mentioned, I think it was the first segment I'd mentioned, grow food with your kids. I think, you know, I started at a very young age. My daughter was a year old and I started with a garden, with an organic garden. Plant those seeds with the children, watch them, watch the growing and the growth process of the plants and the vegetables and the fruits. And when they're involved in that process, they're curious, they're interested. That's how I got both kids to eat leafy greens, because they were excited growing their own garden, growing their own food, right? Teaching them to do that. Educating them, right, on sugar and what it does to the body. I have an entire body book. So both my kids have like a giant body book. So they know about the organs, they know how the organs function, they know what happens when you eat sugar, how it damages your organs. So we talk about that. We talk about how color is bad for you and how red color actually causes ADHD and ADD and attention deficit disorder and focus issues. They give kids Ritalin because they're eating too much red dye sometimes, you know, not always the case, but it does happen where their 7-year-olds are drinking, you know, Coke and pop, and then they're eating red dye, and then they're like wondering why their kids have attention deficit disorder. I'm like, okay, you know, read, get informed on what all these ingredients are and what the impact is on the human body, and transmit that. And your kids are intelligent. My 5-year-old understands his body. He understands where the kidneys are, where the liver is. He understands what these foods are doing to your body, and he refuses to eat anything that's not healthy. So you can teach your children these things, right? You can, it's possible.
Guru?
They generally see the children's, they mimic their parents.
Yes.
So what generally we eat, they follow that. What type of conversation we do, they talk in like that. If you watch children and peep them, you will find that when they are playing, one of their favorite game or the play will be, a girl will be act like a mom, and the boy, he will be act like a father. Take the family like that. I have seen children like playing. So they try to cook the food and they give like that. You know better what I am saying. So it is very important that the family should be involved in that.
Yeah.
I will give one of the example that when I have my grandchildren and child, and first child, he was 3 years old, and we were having the pizza, and we have the Coke generally with that. And my grandson, he said, I want to have the Coke.
Yeah.
My daughter said, Dad, should I give him? Because generally he said, okay, no, he should not. And from that day, I have not touched the Coke.
Oh.
We never serve Coke in our home.
Really?
Yes. So see, then the children, what they say, that why other children are taking, and when we go to any party, there's lot of, and as we were talking about the sweet in the school, we taught them that the lollipop and these sweets are not good. And that's it. Why then factories are making it? Why people are selling it? And when I go do something good in the class, teacher give me one lollipop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So next time, my grandson, when he was offered the lollipop, he said to the teacher, "Thank you. I am not going to take it. Thank you. You gave me." He said, "Why? Take it. It will destroy my teeth."
Wow. Interesting. Empowering the youth to make that
And I
choice.
told him that this is like that. I took him to my dentist friend, and because sometimes the children don't listen to you properly, but they listen to others.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he explained to him, and then he explained in the class,
Yeah.
in the first class, when he was in first grade, he taught the child, he said, how your teeth, He said, then we have the cavities, and there will then at night we can get the pain, and then you have to go to the dentist and all that. And the next day, he asked the boy that, who taught you? He said, my grandfather. He said, that's your grandfather. I went to school. What happened? He said, you were wonderful teaching them, because I was not aware. For the last 10 years, I am teaching and giving the lollipop to the children when they are doing good. So from now, I am not going to give them. That's why I said, you can give them something else.
Yeah. So then how do you feel as food, we're talking about food and appreciating food and valuing food, and how do we separate that as a reward, food reward, as opposed to sustenance, and finding pleasure in your food that sustains you?
Go ahead.
So
Yeah.
I think, just to add to what Guru was saying, and then I can answer that question, it's also about education and empowerment, right? It's not about, having this dictatorial, controlling relationship with your kid saying, no sugar, and you're not allowed to eat this. And if you have that, guess what kids are going to do? They're going to rebel. They're going to do exactly the opposite of what you're going to tell them. So it's about education and empowerment and get them that choice, and also not causing that trauma of like they're missing out on things, right? So when we do go to birthday parties, well, when we used to go to actual birthday parties, not Zoom ones, not Zoom parties, I give them the choice.
Yes.
I tell them, you guys can eat whatever you want. And it's so interesting because when you've sort of educated and trained your children to appreciate food, so it goes back down to that appreciation of food and good food, and their taste buds are not used to the sugar at home, they won't eat a huge chunk of cake. Like my son will have like this tiny little cake, and he's like, I'm done, mommy, it's gross. And my daughter will probably eat half of it and have 2 chips, and she's like, I'm good. They won't overindulge, right? Because their taste buds are trained to appreciate good food that comes from nature, right? Versus the chemical stuff that their body's like, this doesn't actually taste good. I remember even this one time where the grandparents took my kids to McDonald's. Without me knowing it, I had no control. I was like, all right, it's fine. It's okay. I found out after. They couldn't touch the food. My daughter was like, this doesn't taste like meat. This doesn't taste like food, because they're used to good food. So it really is about like appreciating good food, getting used to, educating them on this is food, this is not, and yeah, I don't use food as a reward. Right? We get excited over, like we'll make, gluten-free, vegan, refined sugar-free brownies. They taste amazing. They're so good, and we take pleasure in making the food. Like my kids love making food. They'll bake with me, they'll cook with me, they'll see what kind of ingredients I'm using, and we're using things that are like, we'll use dates or honey to sweeten things, etc. And so they're not, food is not so much a treat for good behavior. It's just something we love. We enjoy it. We appreciate it. It's not just sustenance and survival, but we enjoy tasting different things. And I also do an activity with the kids where we buy a weird fruit of the week. Like every we'll buy like a weird fruit that we've never had before. We've experimented with like dragon fruit and different weird fruit and vegetable of the week. Some were successful, some were not, jicama, we did some jicama fries. So it's like different types of like Japanese sweet potatoes, like things that we'd normally not eat in our regular staple or regular diet. We just kind of experiment. Every week we discover a new vegetable or fruit of the week, and it's exciting, it's fun, it's discovery, it's exploration, right? It's not so much a reward for good behavior, like here's a lollipop, if you behave well you get ice cream. I try to steer away from that as much as possible. Yeah.
Thank you. Guru?
This human creature is a very strange creature in this world. So you see, there's any celebration, particularly on every celebration, whether it is good or bad, you are eating very, very, very bad food. What type of this? Sometimes I wonder that on celebration we are going to eat junk food, or any celebration will have. We say that if there is no drink, there is no good celebration.
Right. Yeah, it's up here, right? Yeah.
In any party, whether wedding party or a sad party,
Mhm.
you celebrate with the wine or with the whiskey and all that.
Mhm.
And then there is a fried stuff, all the fried food.
So it's, it's interesting
So
because, sorry, go ahead.
generally, one part of it is this. Sometimes when some friends call me on the for the dinner party, all that, particularly when it is a solo party,
Oh,
I
yeah.
generally tell them that please make sure that there is no fried stuff. Please have a simple food, vegetable soup or vegetarian, because I am a vegetarian.
Mhm.
And if those people who are non-veg, they can have that soup type of things, or not to be too much gravies with the oil and all that.
Mhm.
And what generally they say, it is a food for the sick people.
Mhm.
It is a sick, just, and my answer is always to them is that this food is for sick to make them healthy.
Right. Yeah.
So why not to take a healthy person to will remain healthy? Why we are going to take that food which is going to make us sick, and then we are going to take that healthy food? So this vicious circle is going on. This society is very strange.
It is interesting, I'm looking at the value of family and that the circle is very important, bringing back in the joy of preparing food together as a community. And I think that that component has been removed from many of our lives because we're going, as you were referring to, both of you. And it sounds like, Carine, that you have incorporated that into your lifestyle. It sounds like your lifestyle in terms of you value that as a family, lifestyle choices and
Right.
good choices. So how do we do that? How do we incorporate that and change that in our school system, in our society, the value of pulling community together, whether it be your own immediate family or us storytelling through preparing food together, and stimulating the senses together, making lifestyle changes together, being a part of a balanced lifestyle. How do we kind of incorporate that beyond our conversation today?
Be cooperative with each other and try to make them understand to your friends what is good or what is bad. As I was saying that healthy food, which makes a sick person healthy, that is the best food. So why not to take that? So one family, if teaches a second, then third, because society is made by us. Whenever we say it is with the society, we have to go with the society. And what is the society? Society is with us because of us. We are not because of the society. Society is not going to help me when I fell sick. I have to take care of myself, my own. So if each person will take his care, automatically there will be good society.
Mhm.
And on the highway, every driver, if he take care of his own driving, there will be no accident.
Mhm. So it
Except
starts.
except the natural calamity, if there is a tornado.
So it starts with the gardening with your
Yes,
family.
but
It's
otherwise there will be, because we are become ignorant, or it is our carelessness. And in the food also, it is our carelessness.
Mhm. So from ground to table, when you're preparing the food, you're teaching your children that, they can be a part of that process of making those choices, but also a part of the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. So how do we incorporate all three of those components for our ever-changing society? We're in the middle of COVID. People are struggling with their resources right now. They can't always make healthy lifestyle choices. But they maybe really want to do that with their family. But what are some of the ways they could do that in an easier, attainable way if they necessarily don't have the money for shopping for that healthy They can grow their own food, those kind of things. So I wonder if we can open up the conversation to that.
It's funny because there is that misconception that eating healthy is expensive, because it's really not. Since I changed my lifestyle, yes, if you're buying the organic prepackaged stuff, it's very expensive. But if you're just doing like plant-based food and buying more veggies and cooking things from scratch, I've actually saved money by doing that versus when I used to buy all this prepackaged stuff. So yes, growing your own food is amazing, and it's very economic. But go to farmers markets. There's so many beautiful farmers markets. There's some grocery stores that sell tons of organic stuff on sale. So if you can find those good deals, and you can batch cook. Like a lot of the things I do is I batch cook. So I'll make like vegetable broth from scratch, and I make it from the scraps of my veggies. So when I'm not, the parts of the celery that I'm not using, or even the carrot peels, onion peels, garlic peels, like I'll put them all in a freezer bag and put them in the freezer. And when I have enough, I'll make vegetable broth from scratch, and I'll make a giant batch in my crock pot. And then I'll just freeze them in little cubes. And there you go, vegetable broth for free. Made from vegetable scraps. So you can get really resourceful and really scrappy when you start doing research on, batch cooking meals and making things from scratch and making things from nature, like coming from the source, versus, yes, if you buy prepackaged stuff, it does get expensive, right? And even like turmeric, instead of buying like turmeric powder, because those turmeric powders can be, really expensive, buy organic turmeric and just juice it in a juicer, or grind it up into like a saute. And if you go to the source instead of buying prepackaged, it's not that expensive. It's actually going to be economical. And the other thing I would do is get kids out in the garden and grow your own food and garden. And it's such a great activity, but also connect with nature. Go out into nature. You don't have to be stuck at home. You can go into hiking trails and touch a tree, connect with nature, listen to the birds. Just connect with Mother Nature from that respect, because that actually is amazing for the soul, and it's very healing, and it's very good for your mental health as well, just to be outdoors in nature, surrounded by trees outside of the city, right? It's a beautiful way to nourish your soul, and it's actually connected to eating a better, more balanced diet. And having a more balanced lifestyle when you're connecting with nature.
And it is, I will say, very wrong statement when we say that food, organic food or the good food is costly. No.
Yeah.
Food you should not consider that your food is costly. Your other items are more costlier than that. If you can go to buy for the branded jacket or branded shoes, they are very costly. But generally when we come to the grocery shop, we try to find out that which apple is cheaper, what is on the sale. Why on that food? Why you are compromising on that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
If we go back to the history, first choice of a human being was to get the food. They work for the food first. And the other items, they are on the less priority. You can have one shoe, which is enough. But nowadays, you will find that a person in every house, there are more than shoes than in a small shop. Because every person in the house has 10 to 5, 15 or 20 sometimes. And in the same way, we have more and more clothing also.
True. Yeah.
We are not wearing all those. Undershirts, I think, nowadays. But I was happy when I was student and having 3 shirts and 2 pants.
Heard that before. I really have heard that from others. Minimalist.
Yes, we are spending our more money on other things than our grocery. If we take care of that, things will be changed. And I have seen that now in the Facebook, that people are getting more to the healthy food. They are, because of the COVID, they were not going to the outside, to the restaurant and all that. So they have started making food at their home. They are trying so many things. Mostly I've seen the sprouts are using other type of cereals and vegetable soups, and they are consuming less bread and all that.
Yeah.
And some food for thought,
And I
you know.
will say that particularly if you are going out,
Yeah.
but the food, I am not advocating, but I am that name. But go for that veggie type of burgers or Mexican type of food. Because in the Mexican food, mostly you will find that there are nutritious things.
Yes.
There's less fried instead of getting to the fried stuff of foods.
Mhm. Mhm.
But generally, what the children say, then why they have opened a shop?
I like that. Green,
Yeah, and I was been saying just some food for thought. Like, how much is your health worth to you?
Yes,
Right? How much are you spending on band-aiding your health because you're eating all of that garbage that you think is saving you money, and then you're going to the pharmacy and buying Tylenol and cold and flu and all this other medication that, you know, even topical skin products because
yes,
you have psoriasis or eczema and all this. Think of how much money you're actually spending on fixing the problem that this cheap food that you thought you were saving money on. You know, there's like a logic. How much your money are you saving? And how much is your health overall worth to you when you end up in the hospital for something serious? When you get a disease in your body, like how much is that worth to you? Is it worth you saving $1 on that celery? You know, because
yeah,
organic is cheaper. Is it worth? And you know, the dirty dozen, focus on the dirty dozen. If you can't buy all organic, that's okay. Focus at least on getting organic for the dirty dozen. Look up dirty dozen, it's everywhere. You know, the celery, the leaf greens, the apples. Apples alone have 60 something plus pesticides in one apple.
yes,
We're putting that in our babies' bodies. I'm passionate about this. Like in your baby, your 6-month-old baby whose organs are still developing, you're feeding that child 64 possible pesticides, if not more. Last I checked, it was 64 pesticides. God knows. You know, then there's GMO. Then there's other things in that apple. How much apple is in that apple? You know, ultimately. And then that child might grow up developing some serious issues and having health problems and having to be on antibiotics, constantly driving to the hospital. How much is that worth? You know, the amount of stress that you're going to be put under because your child is sick, right?
and now the summer is coming. One should try to grow their own, as you were saying, own vegetables in the garden, and you will get some exercise also. Your body will be also good. And for the summer, I will like to give one tip that as most of the people now use the sun cream, sun protection from that. I have experimented with the sweet potato.
Oh,
Make the
Oh,
sweet potato uh, boil boil it to that stage that it becomes very pulpy, and you can have the paste like that.
okay. Yeah.
That paste you can apply to your hands, feet before going out and make that shield remain there. It will be a natural protection from the sun.
so
Could you,
cool. Wow.
so could we Google that?
Yes.
The mixture?
You will not find in the Google. This is my own idea that sweet potato has a property to protect your skin from sunburn.
Nice. So we can
Wow.
make our own
Not
paste.
it is said to the skin cancer. It is
Amazing.
protective against the skin cancer.
Mm. That's
Wow.
really neat.
And you
So,
find that nowadays, because of the global, you are getting all these things every day or all the season. But generally, I have seen in the back home that on the change of season from I will say that from winter to summer, it used to come and this the crop come up at that time, and also at the end of the season, because when you are entering into the summer, you are going to expose yourself hot and to the sun. At that time, generally people in my country they used to eat for 7 to 10 days continuously in their diet. They make sure that, and in summer, in winter, generally people go to in the tropical countries like India or that, we go and sit in the sun.
Mhm.
Here in Canada, it is very cold because if sun is, it is a, I will say that it is a deceiving sun in the winter. Sometimes you see that it's very sunny and you try to go out with very
No.
little thought and then you come back. So I have told so many patients about this, and it is a very successful. And they said it's very good because it's a natural, and you apply it.
I'm gonna try it. I love
Yes,
this. I love this kind of stuff.
you try
Because
it and tell to others also. Then you will get the very good data.
wow. Definitely going to try that for sure. So we can't make a mistake with it. Just, make sure it's pasty. There's no mistake you can
Yeah,
make.
you can
Really.
make a paste. There's no harm in that.
Okay.
There's no chemical. It's not going to burn
I
anything.
mean, I'm making it even. Is it? I'm thinking I might make a mistake.
Yeah,
Oh, but
you can make a good face pack also.
okay. Yeah, that was just like it'd be really good for the
Yes,
skin,
Well,
Oh,
the
that's
skin's
neat.
your biggest organ, right? Your skin's
Yes.
your biggest organ. Another advice that I can give people is just be mindful of what you're putting on your skin, because everything you're putting on your skin is being absorbed by your organs and your blood flow, right? Your bloodstream. So just read the ingredients, like how many parabens, how many products do you have at home that have sulfates and parabens in there that your body is absorbing, and even on kids. Like there are kids products, like even baby powder, like all these things have so many chemicals in there that are actually going into their, nervous system and their respiratory system. So be very mindful of what you're using on your children, on your babies, like the diaper creams, like all this stuff is going straight to their organs. And I'm like, use coconut oil or something. There's so many natural organic alternatives to these products that you can start researching and get curious about, right? And not
That's
use
it.
the conventional stuff that people recommend.
yes.
Just recommend, yeah.
I used to find that for baby groups, when mothers, it'd almost be like a rite of passage for them. They'd be using baby wipes, and their child would have an irritation. It's like, oh, and just accept the irritation because they're using chemical baby wipes, right?
Baby wipes and the
Right?
chemical diapers too. There's so many chemicals in diapers as well.
Yeah.
You can look into like reusable, like eco-friendly diapers as well that are more gentle, made with organic cotton. There's like organic diapers, but diapers are expensive. So, for some moms, I used conventional for the longest time and my kids were fine, but I was using organic wipes.
Oh, yeah.
But you can use, like, if I always tell myself, I'm like, if I ever have another child, I will be using like the reusable kind where you just like, you can just send it off to a cleaning company, it gets cleaned and you bring it back, and it's really gentle on the baby's skin, right?
Yeah.
There's so many options out there based on your budget and where you're at and your lifestyle. And it's not about just completely overhauling your life, but it's like making simple little changes here and there. Oh, maybe I'll modify that. Oh, maybe I'll get rid of white sugar, or maybe I'll use, natural sunscreen and sweet potato or organic there's organic baby sunscreens, right? Maybe making little tiny lifestyle changes here and there instead of just completely overhauling your life. And it is about balance. Like sometimes I will have like fun and just have a little cupcake, or it's not about like being neurotic and 100% of the time I'll be like a dictator and only eat like healthy organic. Sometimes it's like, all right, we're going to order some pizza, organic, it's organic, good pizza, but still we're going to have some pizza. It's going to be pizza night, not depriving your children of things that are considered normal by society, so they can enjoy that too. And they know, and then they can make their own decisions afterwards as to what they want to do and how they want to eat.
So I might go.
I generally advise people that train your child as early as possible as a potty training, so that yes, and you see this rash cream, it will, because if they will not make the diaper with some chemical, because now you have seen that there are lots of different type of fragrances in that. What is that fragrance? That has come from the chemical.
Yeah.
And when that is to be, so that product is to be sold. So this is all marketing. It's a vicious circle. And generally people don't understand it. And I've seen that when they put the diaper on the children, that their duty is not to check them regularly. Sometimes I've seen that children are having a very heavy diaper containing in them. But because there is the foul smell is not coming because of the fragrance. And mother is not recognizing it, and so she's not changing it.
Yeah. Mhm. That would be the telltale sign right there. If it's sagging, yeah. So there's irritation, additional irritation over and above because of the changing. Yeah, no, for sure. That's interesting. I wonder, I know we probably could talk on for sure. And I'd love to invite you again for another opportunity to speak. And I just wondered the last bit of our program, we maybe have about 5 more minutes, if you could talk about words of wisdom and maybe perhaps some guidance from your work that you're doing in your service, Carine, but also in your years of career as well, Guru. Just words of wisdom, people looking to make some lifestyle choices.
Right. I think, first and foremost, I'm all about, self-love and being gentle with yourself, because it's not about, this whole conversation. Yeah, we've talked about a lot of things. It's becoming, more aware and more educated over these things. But I want to make sure that people understand, people listening, especially moms, that this is not about shaming what they're doing, right? I don't want them to feel guilty that, oh my God, I didn't breastfeed my child. I couldn't breastfeed my child. That's okay. That's okay. You do the best you can. And everybody's just trying to do the best they can. So this conversation is not about being preachy, and I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, and sometimes I cheat and I treat myself to something. It happens. I'm tired some days and I feel like I want to eat more sugar. It happens to the best of us. And baby steps, make little changes, educate yourself, try to see if you can change a few things in your life, right? Focus on you first. We have this tendency as parents to put our children first, especially as moms. It's always about the children. No, focus on you first, on your self-care, on your mindfulness practice. And if you haven't meditated before, start getting into meditation and yoga. Find a teacher or a healer or a coach that can guide you through it, because it's not easy to do this alone. I had to educate myself. I had to train myself. I went and first thing I ever did was become a yoga teacher for kids. I wanted to understand how kids work and the psychology of children, how can implement mindfulness in our daily practice. And I did it mostly for my own children, not to teach others. And I did end up teaching others for a while. But it really is, it's like, go venture within, go within yourself, do that work on yourself as an adult, as a parent, before you even teach your children, right? Self-care, fill your cup first. It's the oxygen mask. I don't like using that example because it's been so overused and it's so cheesy and corny, but it's the best way to explain it. Put your own oxygen mask before, because you can't give from an empty cup. You can't, when you're depleted and you're not taking care of your own nourishment, from whether it's food, whether it's mind-body practices, you can't be there for your children. You can't be the parent that you're meant to be. You're coming from a place of like frustration, anger, stress, exhaustion. Your body's drained. You're probably dealing with some dis-ease in your body, and you're trying to take care of these children. It's a lot. It's too much. Come back to self. Come back to you, and work on yourself so hard, and educate yourself, and work on these self-care and self-love practices, and then you can be there for them and be gentle. Be kind with yourself. Be gentle. It's like you might have spent the last 20, 30, whatever years being told that this is the way you should do things. And it's like you're unlearning. It's not an overnight thing. It's not an overnight thing. Baby steps, be gentle with yourself, and don't shame yourself for any decisions you've made in the past, because I ate junk for the longest time. I destroyed this body, and I was still able to bounce back. I was still able to make those changes and those shifts at the age of like 29, right? And I'm still making changes even at my age. So it's like, you can make those changes at any age. It's not, even if you have, made mistakes in the past with yourself or with your children, you're always redeemable. Nobody's unredeemable. You can fix it now.
Wisdom. Lane and Karen, and I think our audience will be in agreement with me if I say that wisdom is such a thing which cannot be purchased from any store. It cannot be marketing. It is a self-evaluation. Whatever you experience in your life, try to analyze it, whether it has given you some benefit or it has hurt you or you have lost something. In this way, you can increase your wisdom. Wisdom is such a thing, more you will try to intellectual yourself, the more you will be becoming that. Whatever the information you see, whatever things you see in the society or in the world, or even from the movie, try to grab those things which are good for you. It has everything, as coin has two sides. You have to choose one side, not always one side. You have to choose from both the sides what are the good things. Every society has good things, every religion has good things, every person is good, nobody is bad, and you are saying nobody is perfect. Try to analyze or give the respect to the person who has that big good qualities. Don't try to grab those which are wrong things. Don't take his bad habits. Try to grab that good habits, what he's doing good. Never go for that negative things. Try to always see the good. So as in the summer, when sun is very hot, don't go at that time. In the morning and evening, sun is very pleasant. Why to enjoy that? So that is your wisdom will tell you that what time I should be in the sun and what time I should not be in the sun. So in the same way, what food I have to take and what not to take. And I have seen in the WhatsApp and generally WhatsApp universities, no good. Try to understand those things. What you get messages are always not good messages, which could not be, as I have seen that now one should drink at least 8 to 10 liters of water. And I have seen some people who are taking that and then going to the pee and they have lost so many minerals and they collapse there. You are putting your unnecessary to your kidney. More work for that. If your body is your body, listen to your body, as you are saying. It's very good. We should listen to our body. Our body wants milk, our body wants fruit, our body wants food, or our body wants milk, or sorry, water. So give that only. Yeah, when your body wants rest, give at that time rest. Not go with the rest. Because your mind is not, because our mind is such a thing which I say that it try to make you lazy.
Yeah.
If that would not happen there, then that wheels would have not developed. We were walking and then he rolled away. And then from that, he developed the wheel. From that wheel, they developed the cycle. And from that cycle, we have developed the cars. And now to cover the distance, we have the rocket. Now we are planning to go to the Mars, to the new world.
Yeah.
So our mind always try to have, because if this cup I have to take it, I will not go and I will ask my grandson that please grab that cup to me. Why I should not go there? Because our mind is such a thing, it wants that your body should take rest. But if you train him to work more, it will start working. It is such a thing. It's like a cycle. When you pedaling the cycle, it gets more speed and speed, and your legs also start working on that. In the first step, you are tired. Then tiredness goes away. Exercise is the real way that will take away your tiredness. And yoga is one of that which you can do anytime. It is also, I will say, the ATM. Whether it is good weather outside or not, your own home, and it is not to, you have not to rely on any machine also.
Yeah.
No cycling is needed. You can just lie down and like a children, like a child cycling. As I was before that, when you're talking that I learned lot of things from my grandchildren. As see, when they get up in the morning, they just not get up. They will hold like that, like that. They move their legs, they move their, and even if you have the cat, you will see that your cat never stand up. It will stretch itself. First, stretch your body. That will take away all the pains.
Good advice. Yeah. No, what you both said.
And don't don't
sorry.
eat more. Generation, this is to be left out. Keep it left out. I have seen that children, when you are feeding them on the milk, even the last drop, if they have not to take, they will not take it. If forcibly you will feed them and they will take it out immediately.
Mhm.
So why that garbage is to be garbage in your stomach?
Yeah.
Your stomach is not a garbage bin where you can throw the overflow of your food. Eat, let always eat. My mother used to say that keep your hunger for one loof.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. Mm, good advice. Thank you both. You've been amazing. I have a question for you, Carine. If someone wanted to reach out to you, how would they be able to do that, and how can they find you?
Yeah, well, multiple ways. They can reach me on Instagram. They can search me through Awaken Your Magic. Um, I also have my website, which you'll see my name here. I know it's a little complicated, but it's CarineSroujian.com. There's my website. You can reach out to me at Carine@Sroujian.com. And I also have a private Facebook group. It's a pretty large private Facebook group where I do weekly live trainings in there for free, and I offer support in there. So if anybody just needs some support and guidance on balancing your mind, body, and your soul, and how to really tap into your inner wisdom, it's a great place to be. So reach out to me anytime, any form. I'm accessible. My doors are open. So yeah.
Thank you. And we'll definitely share it on our website as well, too, all the
Great.
links
Okay.
to get in touch with you. And what about you, Guru? How could people, if they wanted to have any questions with you in the future, how could they get in touch with you? Would you like us to share any links on the website, or shall we have you back as a guest another time?
I can be, it's my pleasure to be next time.
Yeah.
And I will say that Gurudat, I have not developed any website and all that. If anyone want to reach to me, I can give my number, but I will prefer that they should call and they talk to you, Lynn, or the Moksha Foundation, Moksha Foundation. Will be very happy when the people will join or ask to the Moksha Foundation about me, and we can have the collaboratively help them. Otherwise, they can go vadgurudat at hotmail.com. It's very easy. Vadgurudat at hotmail.com. Or they can call me on my phone number.
Oh, that's okay. We can always provide that as well. And yeah,
Yes.
for you, we can save it for you so you don't have to.
Yes. So that's why I've said you can put my name in your foundation website. You are free to do that.
Thank you.
So that people can, because it should be a very collaborative work.
I agree.
And we can help them in so many other ways also.
Absolutely. Guru and Carine, I am so grateful for you to be here with me. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot from you, our guest experts, and we want to thank Moksha Canada Foundation as well for allowing us to be here and share our community and shine light on all these wonderful things that are going on and raise awareness. Reach out to us on social media. Please, if you have anything, get involved, and please hit that get involved button. We're always looking for ideas, and we can't thank you enough for being here. Join us next time, and thank you to Guru and thank you to Carine, and we'll say goodbye to our viewers. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you to the
Thank you.
Thank you to you and to your Moksha Foundation that they have given me the opportunity to be with the audience and all that, whatever are going to be happen. So I am very glad and happy that you gave me my opportunity. And I will say that please say my thanks to the organizer of the all team, because you are sitting here, but there is a big team which is working with you, which have made us to be here. So to the president, to the secretary, or the founder, I will thank to them, and God bless them and give them more courage and wisdom, of course, to do more good work and courage also, because such type of talks are need great courageous things, because we sometimes we are talking about, which I will say that against the society norms which are going on. We have to change. One have to come and change the society for the good, not for the bad things.
And on that note,
I am wrong? Right. I am right?
Pardon?
Whatever I said, I right?
Yes, absolutely. Definitely a team effort. And really, that is what Moksha Canada Foundation is about. And it is because of our founder, Sunil Channon, that why we're here today. And he has helped to build the team for Moksha Canada, this wonderful nonprofit organization that's not only celebrating Ontario, it's celebrating Canada and us internationally and our communities here. So thank you very much for joining us, Spotlight on Community. And what our guests said, Guru and Carine. Well, I cannot say more. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.